Hello everybody, this is the Rabid Hedgehog, and here I am in Shawnee, Oklahoma at Seahorn Yamaha, and they are giving me the opportunity to ride the 2015 and 16, basically, there's no change, Yamaha SR400 single cylinder. The actual CC is 398, I do believe. Poundage on this bike, completely ready to run, is 384 pounds, so pretty lightweight bike for you if you're into the beginning rider and stuff like that, or just for city cruising, so that way you don't have to lug that much weight around, depending on how you look at it. And a 30.9 inch seat height is how it comes out to, and that means that if you're kind of short, that may not be the best bike for you, as it's a little tall without modification. So anyway, first impression of the bike is it's buzzy. You can definitely tell single cylinder. It buzzes quite a bit as you're on the power. Bike is actually very flickable. It's a very narrow bike, if you can see here. So not exactly the widest thing, and since it's so light, it just makes it so flickable, so easy to go to. And acceleration's kind of, you know, lackadaisical, but that's to be expected from a 400. I'm going to do engine braking here just to check it out, and actually the engine braking is very competent. Buzzes quite a bit as you go down in the gearing, but very good engine braking for a single cylinder. Alright, when it comes down to the ergonomics and controls, very narrow handlebars. They're kind of a little bit low. On your right side you have kind of an interesting switch. It's a toggle switch that is both a kind of weird. It's got two stops on each side. You go stop, stop, and you have to line up the red line with the middle to get it to start. So that's kind of weird. Like I said, Kickstarter, so no starter over there. And then on the left side, you got your horn, turn signals, flash the pass, and your bright selector switches. So nothing major or too substantial there. Mirrors are actually pretty good. You get to see pretty decent out of once I get them adjusted somewhat correctly. Wide enough that you don't really get your shoulders too much in the way or your elbows in the way, and you can still see out the back end. Front end, of course, you got your speedometer on the left, tachometer on the right, bright indicator, neutral indicator on the right side with the blinker, and then service engine soon and fuel light on the left side inside there. Analog gauges all around, and also analog trip and regular odometer. Now this bike's warmed up a little, it has smoothed out a little bit, still feels some buzzing within the handlebars and things like that. It is a 5-speed gearbox, and it gets up going pretty good there. This thing just feels pretty good. It's pretty cushy. The suspension's pretty nice and cushy. I like the suspension on it. Take it around here and let's check it out through here. See if I can get a little bit more acceleration out from the group. I unfortunately can't take it on the highway. It's a brand new bike, so I can't do that, but I'll let you know how it accelerates still, because I'll be able to do that. Let's try this out here. Lazy. Yeah, I mean, it's to be expected with a 400. It's not going to be the fastest thing in the world. It'll get up to highway speed for sure. It's just going to take a second to get there. It's not going to be very quick. Definitely out accelerates the 250 XT for sure. It does not out accelerate the Ninja 300 though. So, and it actually doesn't out accelerate the 652 S40. So I know it's a little bit smaller than that, but it's bigger than the 300 on there, but it just doesn't spin up as quick as the parallel twin 300 on the Ninja 300. And this is what this bike kind of is. It's kind of what they call a heritage sport bike. So it sits like a universal Japanese motorcycle style, looks like a universal Japanese motorcycle in terms of the styling. So it's a great looking little motorcycle, no doubt. And there's a lot of accessories to just play around, fart around, and turn it into whatever you want to. So that's kind of cool about it. You know, this bike, like I said, very flickable frame. I mean, it does bob and weave and dive pretty good. It does have spoked wheels, single disc front. I'd have to look at the back. I think it's a drum actually in the back. It might be a disc. I'll take a look at it here in a moment. I'll put that in the comments section. I actually didn't pay attention to it too much. But like I said, that 384 pounds, this is a great bike. in terms of the weight and things like that for a city cruiser, because it sits perfectly. It sits nice and high since it's got 30.9-inch seats, and you can look around and you get pretty good visibility off the bike. I mean, it looks great. Let's take this thing, see what I can do here. Oh, it's so slow. That's okay though. I don't want a bike I can get in trouble with sometimes. I mean, I can get in trouble with a bike. I no doubt about that. But I mean, it does very well. Transmission is nice and smooth, shifting, great transmission. Just pops right into gear, does very good. Like I said, the engine braking on it's fantastic. Power is, you know, delivered very well and very linear for this little guy. It's more of a mid-range. It's not going to catch you off the line. So when you spin it off the line, you're not going to move that quick. Once you get to the mid-range, it starts to pick up a lot from there. So if you keep your shift pattern there, it'll definitely shift really well for you and get you up and get you up to speed pretty decently once you hit that mid-range power. But yeah, I mean, it's just a clean little bike. I just love the way the thing looks. And it's not an exciting bike, but it's a great bike. I mean, it feels solid for what it's worth. I mean, I do have to detract on the fit and finish a little bit because these zip ties, I know that might be a dealer thing, but I mean, why leave the points on there? It kind of looks ridiculous, you know? So there's some things about that, and I mean, the tank's a little knobbly, but I know they're rubber mounted sometimes to keep vibration off, makes them a little bit that way, but you know, I kind of wish that they cleaned it up just a little bit. But I mean, it's real narrow, but you can still get your knees on it, as you can see. And I mean, it's just overall pretty good little bike. I like the package. It's a really fantastically built bike. The brakes are adequate for the 400 for sure. You can get down in speed. I actually just used pretty much engine braking, even though my hand dropped. Looked like I started to brake. I actually didn't have to apply. Engine braking got me down just fine. So, you know, it's overall just a really good, fantastic little bike. I'll do a brake check here in a moment where I can, yeah, it stops real nicely. It does very good. So yeah, good brakes for it. I mean, you're not going to overtax them or anything like that, being only a 400cc, 384 pounds. But I mean, even at my height, at, you know, 6 foot near even, about 230 some pounds, you know, it holds me pretty good. It rides me around just fine. It doesn't have any problems with me being on it. The suspension, even though it's not preloaded for me, it feels great. I mean, it's a pretty good dang little bike. So when it comes down to the SR400, if you want to live with a kickstart only, I mean, that could be the only drawback that you might have. It has a real simple system to do it.
The procedure for the SR400 I mentioned, since it's only a kickstart, what you do is over here on the left side, there's a cylinder purge valve. So what you do is you drop your starter, hit the purge valve here. There's a little sight glass right here. Kind of do a half kick until you see it silver. Release purge valve, come back up, and just that simple. If you want to live with it, it makes it so easy to start. So if you're looking at one of these, good to go.
As a riding bike, once you get it going, it's definitely a nice little bike. I mean, it's beautifully light and simple, so great little bike. Anyway, this is the Rabid Hedgehog. If you want to have any more questions about the Yamaha SR400, let me know in the boxes below in the comments, and I'll get back with you. Keep the shiny side up.